1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
The person next to you, so I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of God.
We come together.
We come together.
Come together.
We come together.
Come together.
We come together in the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
In every walk of life,
Every walk of life.
every creed and color,
Every creed and color.
kinship we unite.
Oh,
In honor of the God in each other. Oh, take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste and I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together
In the name of love.
We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Hey, come on, my. We welcome you to Unity Church of Hawaii on this Aloha Sunday. We're so glad to see you here. We ask now that you please join us, stand as you are able, and let's release and let go.
1, 2, 1, 2.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide.
yes, I'm only here for God.
No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light.
I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Good morning, aloha kakahiaka. I'm Reverend Margie Hyatt, and it is my joy to welcome you all here today to Unity Church of Hawaii, where, centered in God, the center of God is right here at your heart. If you choose, place your hand there with me. Centered in God, we elevate global consciousness through the realization of our oneness. Together, we are the Unity movement here in Honolulu. And it is our task, our holy purpose, to shine the light of who we are, that is God itself in physical form, here in our community, for ourselves to know this truth, to be the light for our own life from the source of who we are, to be the light in the community, because the community needs the light. And we were called to be, to share, to act as God, as a loving face, a compassionate heart, willing hands and feet. Unity is a spiritual, educational, and healing movement founded in prayer. And prayer is the power of our spoken word and thought in action to create the presence of heaven on earth. God realized, represented in us, and our knowing of oneness, one heart to the other. So if we have our hands on our heart, we recognize it's a kinesthetic way of saying, I am the holy presence of the energy of God. I invite you to say that with me. I am the holy presence of the energy of God. So on Sunday, we joyfully use that power of our spoken word to feel that vibration in our own being and to let that vibration move through the community, spreading the light, bringing hope, offering transformative power through our own holy selves, for each one and for all. And in that recognition of the holiness that you are, I invite you to stand and greet one another in the spirit of aloha this morning.
That you please remain standing as you're able. Let's all be aloha.
Aloha is a word that has so many meanings, like saying hello and goodbye. It means how are you and I miss you so, and I hope you're feeling all right. But most of all is the spirit from within that makes you feel so good inside. Aloha means with all my heart, all my love to you. You gotta be aloha. Aloha brings us all together. Sing aloha if you're looking for a piece of heaven. Sing aloha.
Okay, everybody, welcome to Unity Church of Hawaii. Woohoo! Yes, that's right. It deserves a clap. I'm Reverend Johanna Kelly, and I'm filling in today as speaker while Reverend Tim is back on the mainland. So it is my great pleasure to welcome you to our Ohana, our community, on this Aloha Sunday. So first of all, I want to have you give yourselves a round of applause for waking up early and coming and joining us here today. Because I know sometimes on a Sunday, one of the hardest things to do is to get out of bed. So thank you for really following that prompt from Spirit. And also, I want to know if there's a couple of new people. If you haven't been here in a long time, well, since Reverend Tim has been hired on as senior minister, or if this is your first time with us, I want us to be able to shower you with gifts of love and aloha. So please rise so we may celebrate you in attendance today. And so what you are receiving, friends, is a kukui nut lei, which represents the aloha and the love of these islands, and also a welcome packet. And in that welcome packet, you will find lots of free gifts, including a free breakfast down in the courtyard, in our kitchen area. And so today for everyone is Aloha Sunday, so guess what? That means everyone gets a free breakfast. But then next week, we invite you back to enjoy that voucher so you can get another free breakfast. So for all of our new friends here, let us say the prayer of protection for them together. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. And the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much. You may have a seat. And friends, this is our opportunity when we see individuals with the kukui nut lei on. Go up and show them how friendly we can be, welcome them, walk them down to the courtyard, and really just tell them all about this community and why they would enjoy coming here week after week and making them or this place their spiritual home. So we welcome you. And we have a lot of people from around the world, from Germany to New Zealand to Australia, the Philippines, India, the United States, I guess, Kansas as well, that live stream us every day or every Sunday on YouTube, also on Olelo, so some local folks here. Let us give a warm shaka to them. Over to that camera, yes. And we have Ogalusia and Reverend Tim live streaming in right now as well. So aloha, Ogalusia and Reverend Tim. We miss you. We love you. We'll see you next week. And so we have tons of people that really just enjoy these services. And aren't you so happy that you get to be here in person? And not to say anything about those that are live streaming us. We love you too. But it has a good feeling about it when you can sit here in these seats on Sunday. So if you're live streaming and you ever visit Hawaii, we welcome you to participate in a live service with us. And let us know that you're a love streamer so we can shower you with some extra love and affection. And so today I will be joined by our lovely platform assistant, Ms. Reverend Margie Hyatt, and doing today's daily word is Cindy Hensley. I was about to call you Reverend Cindy Hensley. Cindy Hensley, religious science practitioner. So thank you so much for saying yes to today, for doing that. And so now I welcome Reverend Margie Hyatt for the announcements.
Thank you, Reverend Johanna. Yay, good morning. So do you have your program with you? Because I'm going to speed, and you need to be referring and following along so you know where to find it later. Today is Aloha Sunday, and we celebrate in fashion and in food. Everybody gets to enjoy breakfast, as Reverend Johanna mentioned. And please do invite our guests to come to the front of the line when you see them down there and sit with them, make them feel welcome at the service today. And next we have on my notes, town hall meeting today at 1 o'clock. Our President Joanne Adams has some update prepared for us. So come and be part of that conversation and ask your questions and be involved in your community. And it will be live streamed for those watching at home, or if you just can't stick around until 1 o'clock. I understand it'd be easier if I had a nap before, but hey. I want to also mention a huge mahalo. No, I'm out of order. Membership renewal is coming, and I saw on the website that online will be available December 1, And there will be forms either in the bulletin or at Connection Central. Just stay tuned because it is important according to our bylaws. You must actively raise your hand, sign the form, mark the check on the box online to say, yes, I value my voting membership in this community. And you must reactivate every year. So please stay attuned, those of you out in on-stream live land and here in their community. Watch for the opportunities to fulfill your responsibility as a voting member in our family. Next, from the team, Chairman Joanne Adams and all those who prepared the activities for the month of Makahiki, our 81st anniversary celebration. A huge mahalo to all of you who participated, and from those of us who enjoyed events, mahalo, mahalo, mahalo nui loa to the team that produced such wonderful celebration. To be here in the chapel last Saturday evening and recognize the heritage in which, of the culture in which we live, represented in the Royal Hawaiian Band and the Queen Emma Civic Society, and enjoy that stirring music. I was in a marching band in high school. I love me some marching music. It was a glorious evening and a wonderful cap to the whole celebration. Now, it's not done celebrating yet. You have an opportunity still to participate in our anniversary celebrations and recognize your appreciation of this community by one last giving go-round in the action auction. And if you, like me, would love to see the staff supported with a new computer system, I would like to especially encourage your donation in that particular area. If you don't have a Makahiki celebration envelope in front of you, just note on your check or when you go to the computer to make an online donation, notate that you want to restrict it to a particular use, such as the computer system sorely needed by our office staff or other possibilities that you may feel more called to contribute to. And so we bless you for the giving of your energy to have participated in our celebration and the giving of your gifts to support the work in this church. Coming up, we have some more C, spiritual education and enrichment classes. Reverend Levitt is offering Eye of the Storm. This has been added to the curriculum, required curriculum for those wanting credit, but it is a wonderful class that allows you to stir up that stuff that keeps us from being the most holy, whole self that we are. And when we want to think about shining the light that we are in the community, we hope to come from the place of spiritual clarity. And this class can create that experience for you if you participate. It's a little unusual schedule. We're following Reverend Levitt's particular need to have an open Saturday on a particular a week of the month. So you have to pay attention to the particular dates because it's a little hop, skip, and a tour on the Saturdays. But from 10 a.m. in room 201, you can participate in Eye of the Storm, and I encourage you to purchase the book either. I'm not sure what Catherine Burton is doing about purchasing books. She will tell you when you check in with her at Connection Central, or go online right now and buy your own copy. And following that, I've had a request from Unity people on other islands to repeat Discerning Your Purpose. So I'm going to do it those same days, only by Zoom. That means you can sit in the comfort of your jammies at home, if you wish, on your lanai in your shorts with your iced tea and engage in this class. The requirement is you have to register because I have to have your email address so I can invite you to join. It will follow the same days as Reverend Levitt's class. It'll just be 2 to 3 in the afternoon. And what'd I say? Thank you. 1 to 3. Thank you, Diana. And we have a new addition to our Wednesday evening. Prior to prayer and meditation and healing service at 7, Catherine Burton is offering a weekly class, an hour long, 5:30 to 6:30, up in 201. She's beginning with There is a Spiritual Solution to Every Problem, a Wayne Dyer classic. If you follow the work in this book, you can change your life to that which you envision. So I invite you to come. It's available for credit if you want to attend the series of 10, but she'll be setting you up for the prayer and meditation service each week in that class if you choose to join. Whew, a lot going on. And it's all in here. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. The sponsors for our Aloha Breakfast, and we are so grateful that some of you step up each month. it's a family gift today from Crystal, Diane, and Elaine Morinaga. Thank you so much for your gift to support this work.
We are one. We are one. I am you, you are me. We are one. And in this unity, we will live in harmony, and peace will come. 'Cause we are one.
And friends, during this time, let us prepare for a sacred service to ourselves, a prayer, a sacred service to this community and to the world. And as we close the outer eyes of this realm, and just breathing in deeply and exhaling fully, we bring to the minds of those that are in Pittsburgh right now, those families and loved ones and friends that were affected yesterday by the mass shooting at the synagogue. We call for peace on their hearts. God, give them the peace that surpasses all understanding at this time. Allow the hearts and the minds of those that are not at ease to be filled with your knowledge, to be filled with your peace, your love, your forgiveness. We call on any separation of thought, anything out there that believes that it is still separate from God. We command it to now come together, to realize that the kingdom of heaven, the peace in which is being sought, is always found within. That we do not need to change any person out there, that the only thing that needs awakening is the realization of the God within. So God, we call on that for those individuals that may be in mourning. And we call on this service knowing that you go before it, anointing and blessing this word, the message. May the ears open, the hearts receive, massage the hearts. And whatever you are to give, I allow myself to be the messenger, the vessel. And it is in the likeness of the Christ in which I pray, and so it is. Amen.
And so it is. And friends, today's daily word, we're actually reading today's daily word from tomorrow because it so fits today's daily message. And today's daily word is let go and let God. And our affirmation reads, I let go and let God be, God in me. Let's speak that truth together. I let go and let God be, God in me. The reading continues. There is one power and one presence in the universe and within me, God the good. As I hold this truth in heart and contemplate its many meanings for me, I think about the power within me. I am lifted in spirit above any negative or any worry thought, knowing I have divine power to accomplish any goal, to do whatever is mine to do. Divine peace is at the core of my being and sustains my sense of balance and well-being. In any difficulty I may face, I affirm, I let go and let God be, God in me. In this act of letting go, I attune to my divine nature and allow full expression to allow full expression of my potential. In releasing that which no longer serves me, I create space for new blessings to fill my life. I open to my greater good. And today's scripture comes from Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 33, and it reads, I will put my law within them, and I will write it on their hearts. And friends, now I invite you to close your outer eyes or lower your lids as you are comfortable. And perhaps, friends, to even open your hands in your lap in the receivership position, knowing fully and wholly that the divine spirit of love is the truth of who we are in this now moment and in every now moment. And friends, I just invite you to breathe that in. Breathe in that light, that love of the divine. And today, my heart is calling forth 3 statements. And I invite you to breathe into these statements with me. I believe, friends, that there definitely is a power and a life and a light, and it's called love. I trust. I trust in life. I trust in love, and I trust in that power to sustain me and to sustain us all. And I let go. I let go of fear and worry and doubt, and I lean in. And so, friends, as we believe and as we trust and as we let go, I invite us to sit in that seat of love in the silence and experience the divine as our very lives. And we breathe in deeply. And how good it is to know, to feel that expression and that expansion of love as the truth of who we are. And so, friends, we just go forward this day in that sacred space of love, in that sacred space of the divine. We let go and we let love lead the way. And so it is.
Beloved one who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our errors as we forgive each other, and so forgive ourselves. And lead
Aloha kakahiaka kako. Kapala ke ia, pehea oko. You okay? You doing okay? Nice to be back. I want to bring out my very good friend, beautiful hula dancer. Her name is Halia. And we're going to do a song for our beautiful landmark here, Kaimanahila, or Diamond Head. Ivaho, Ivaho, Mako, Ikapone, Aike, Ikanani, O Kaimanahila, Kaimanahila, Kaumai Iluna, Ivaho, Mako, Ikapone, Aike, Ikanani, O Kaimanahila, Kaimanahila, Kaumai Iluna, Waikiki, Ivaho, Mako, Iwaikiki, Ea, Aike, Ikanani, Papa he e nalu, Papa he e nalu, he e mahali e. Kapiolani paka, Ivaho, Mako, I kapiolani paka, Aike, Ikanani, Lina poe poe, Lina poe poe, Ho'oluhiki no Haina, Haina ia mai, Anna kapuana, Aike ikanani, O Kaimanahila, Kaimanahila, Kaumai iluna. Haina ho, we gotta go. Haina ia mai, Anna kapuana, Aike ikanani, O Kaimanahila, Kaimanahila, Kaumai iluna. Hey! Mahalo.
Thank you, Zanik and Haliha, for that beautiful, beautiful song and hula. All right. Okay, so let's get started on this today. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah, let's get started on this. I got a couple of things that really have been on my spirit for a while. And so today's message is everything must go. Everything must go. Now, for some, like myself, that's an exciting phrase, and for others, not so much. Now, it's exciting to me because whenever I see this, especially at my favorite store, driving down the shopping district in Waikiki, something inside of me awakens. And I know that there's a big sale with my name on it, that the Spirit is trying to bless me and my family and my finances, and so I say yes to that blessing. But the retailers know that everything must go because there's a season for everything. And what was cool and hip during the beginning of a season suddenly is not profitable for the next season. And so they will deeply discount it, which I don't mind. They will deeply discount it because they have to make room for new inventory. If they didn't, then things would be cluttered, chaos would ensue, and you know the rest. Now, this reminds me of a time when Leilani, my daughter, was about 3 or 4 years old, and we were living overseas on a military base. It had a big, bold, beautiful letters, sale. And at this time, Leilani didn't know how to read or write. But suddenly, when we pulled up, she said, "Look, Mommy, your store's on sale." And I looked behind her. At first, I was quite surprised because she was just learning how to talk and everything like that. And on her drawing pad, she had written in crayon, S-A-L-E. She couldn't spell mom, she couldn't spell dad, cat, or dog, but she knew when she saw the word sale that Mommy got excited, and so maybe she should know about that word. And she applied it correctly, and so yes, I was blessed that day as well, knowing that my daughter knew how to read a little bit and knowing that I was going to save a lot of bit of money. So yes, stores know that there's a season for everything, and that we must make way for the new by getting rid of the old. We see this in agriculture as well, with the harvest. Now, depending where you're at in the world, which season you're in, whatever, there's a certain plant or a certain seed that you would plant to produce a certain crop. And depending on the region as well, you can have several harvests within a year. And so the farmer knows what type of seed to plant in order to produce a certain harvest, in order to produce a certain yield, and which time of the year is most favorable for that seed to be planted, because you never plant a seed and harvest it in the same season. It's the law of the harvest. And so they know the law of the harvest, that when a seed is planted, it takes a while to grow and to manifest, but then the seed that they planted will produce fruit or bear yield or yield something. But they also know that if they plant an apple tree, they're not going to expect pears to come out. We always plant the seeds that will bear the fruit that we're looking for. I don't plant an apple tree or a seed for an apple tree and expect oranges to come up years later. I know what I've planted will come to fruition if I take care of it, if I nurture it, if I till the soil, and that's what the farmer does to those crops every single season. Here in Hawaii, we have a certain season that I love. It's called the mango season. Anybody familiar with the mango season? I love me some mangoes. And the church administrator, Lisa Inslee, boy, she can make some good mango cobbler. And Elaine Wong, who's sponsoring today's Aloha Breakfast, she has a mango tree. And so the entire office is just filled with mangoes, deep fried mangoes. You know, on, Forrest Gump, when Bubba, he talks about the shrimps, you can do this with the shrimp and that. You've got 50 variations of mango here, what you can do with it during mango season. You go to the store, there's an abundance of Hawaiian mangoes. And then towards the end of the season, I've noticed that people get a look of dread in their eyes. The faces start to get droopy, kind of like that. And suddenly, people are starting to hoard whatever they got. I don't see any mangoes on my neighbor's fence that they're giving away anymore. Everybody's stockpiling mangoes around here. So it's become quite a commodity at the end of the season because they know that the mangoes here have a certain season and you're going to have to wait before more fruit is yielded. So you can, I know I had a friend come visit, heard about Hawaiian mangoes, had one a couple of years ago when he was here earlier. It was out of the Hawaiian mango season, and we went to Safeway, and I think there was some Venezuelan mangoes. And he's like, "Oh, no, you can't fool me. I dare not eat. I refuse to eat that. I need my Hawaiian mangoes." And so we know when there's a certain season for things as well. We anticipate it. Here, you don't, well, I can't even say this anymore. In Europe, I remember, actually, I was quite surprised when I came back to the United States because in July you could buy firecrackers and your Christmas tree and your Easter eggs all on the same day. Because our seasons really have kind of been just one season here, the holiday season at all times. But I know in Europe, During Christmas season, that's when the Christmas markets would be up. That's when I could get my Christmas tree. During Easter, the Easter eggs, the Easter bunny. If we're celebrating something with fireworks, then there was a season for everything. And everything is changing. There's always a constant change. With the new season, we look for something new to come and spring up in the place of the old. And that's the construct of this world. It's just part of the very fabric of being here, of experiencing this life, is that nothing ever stays the same. That everything is in a constant state of change. Now, this talk title, Everything Must Go, may also spark a little bit of anxiety. If you work in a corporation and you open up an internal email and suddenly read everything must go or termination or something like that, your whole life can flash in front of you. It's a little scary. These words can bring about instantaneous change. It can bring you and call you to look right in the mirror, like, what are we going to do next? Everything must go. That must be mean too. So it can cause a little bit of anxiety. I know in the Department of Defense we had stop loss. And I know Ralph is, I'm sure Ralph, he works with the DOD as well. We had stop loss. We had a letter given to us saying that, guess what? Until the government can figure out our budget, you're going to be placed on kind of like half days or a split schedule. So you show up on a different type of schedule, we're going to pay you less, but everything's going to be good because you get to keep your job. And so we had to do that for a while. And believe me, you couldn't get a second job because hopefully when the government figured out what was happening next, you would go back to full time, and because benefits are pretty good too. And so depending on which end of this everything must go or this change, this release, you can either feel a little bit of anxiety, like I said, or it can be a happy surprise, like when I go shopping on the weekends. But there's a third meaning to this as well. And it's about this release that we're called to do, really on a moment-to-moment basis. But here at Unity, we celebrate the power of release in November. And being at the tail end of October, I thought it was quite fitting to include that because I'm going to actually give a month-long exercise that you'll find on our website under the Sunday Sermon Sum Up after this, starting tomorrow, where we're going to, as a community, start to release the things that no longer jive well or feel good to us. This can be professionally, this can be personally, whatever that is to you. And so I'm actually excited to see what type of transformation will occur when you realize that the power of release is not to limit you, but it's to expand you. And have you ever noticed in the morning, what's the first thing that we're called to do? We're called to stretch. Because I want to speak to some things, to the God that's located within us today, that have been showing up in our lives, in our minds, in our families, and in our communities. That's calling us to get rid of what no longer works for us and to take on a new identity. And in the morning, when we stretch, it's because we have been inactive for so long. We have been in almost like a state of suspension. And this stretching, sometimes it may not feel so good depending on the state of affairs in our body. You might feel a bone crack or a muscle tends to spaz out a little, like I hear from some of my friends telling me, Ralph, what happens. But once the stretching is done, what do you feel? You feel freer in the body, right? Things are starting to move. That's because the body says, okay, I have had time to expand. I can now step into a new way of being. I can move forward. And the body automatically, without even you thinking about it, does it. So we're called to do this on a spiritual level as well. And it's a necessary process in this life. Because if we don't stretch ourselves, stagnation starts to step in. There we go. Thank you so much, Diana. You rock and roll. I thank you. Blessings to you, Diana. You are taking care of me. The Lord is looking out for me, whether I know it or not. So thank you. So stagnation starts to seep into things. And then this stagnation actually starts to turn into a thing I like to call dysfunctional comfort. Dysfunctional comfort. And it shows up more times than not as the inability to do something. And really not even an inability. It shows up as our maybe refusal to do something. It can show up in our personal lives, in a relationship. We've been in a marriage, a partnership that maybe is abusive, that hasn't been right for years, but we stay anyway because we've become comfortable with it. It can show up in our professional lives with a job that we stay at for 12 years, with no pay raise, with being treated badly. And then suddenly one day, we wake up with stomach pains, and medical bills are increasing. It can show up in all types of ways. When we refuse to act, there's an idea that comes to us, but we've been keeping it on the shelf in our mind. And suddenly, we watch a commercial one day, and that same idea pops up right in front of you. And now somebody else is making money with that divine idea that was first given to you because you didn't act and somebody else did. And believe me, when somebody else catches the idea, there's going to be somebody that's going to say, oh, I got to go with this. So it's either going to be you or them, because all ideas are accessible to everyone since we are one in mind. But the inability to act, to just be comfortable with the day in, the day out, the refusal to ask for a raise, a refusal to get marriage counseling, whatever, it turns into this dysfunctional comfort, which then turns into apathy. And apathy is a close cousin to atrophy. It's the mean cousin from Jersey, that atrophy is. When I was growing up, I was in 4th grade going into 5th grade. The summer of, I had a friend, and this is a true story, by the way. I had a friend who invited me over, a neighborhood friend, and they had a cousin from New Jersey. The name, I kid you not, was probably closely sounding like atrophy. So atrophy from New Jersey came, visited for a week, my friend, and around adults, atrophy be really nice to me. We were the best of buddies. Suddenly, the adults leave the room, and I was on the ground getting my stomach punched in, and my legs were banged up and everything else. But as soon as an adult came walking in, atrophy straightened up real quick, gave me a handshake, a hug, and a high five. And so I didn't really like being around atrophy. And then the next year, my friend calls me, guess what? Your best buddy, Atrophy from New Jersey, you know, the one you like so much, is coming into town again for a week. Really wants to see you. So I'm 5th grade now. I'm a little bit smarter than my 4th grade self. And I grew. I was hoping I grew bigger than Atrophy at that point. So I went over to my friend's house when Atrophy was there. The adults were around. We were having a great time. Atrophy was like, yes, buddy, I love you. And I love you too, Atrophy. And the adults left the room. What happened? I got whooped up. And so I was like, there's a cycle that's happening here. Every time these adults leave, I suddenly find myself in pain on the ground and crying and bawling out. So next summer, my friend calls Atrophy, your friend from New Jersey. You know Atrophy. You really love Atrophy so much. Wants to see you. Nope. So my 6th grade self was so much more smarter. I didn't care if I was bigger than Atrophy. I knew. Self-love. I need to protect myself. This person is not looking out for my best interest. I must be my own guardian at this point. I got busy real quick that summer, and Atrophy and I haven't seen each other since, and I'm glad, and I hope Atrophy's doing well in this world and has a successful career and married off and having kids and stuff like that. So I wish Atrophy's the best. But this is what's happening in our lives. We become so comfortable. Things are just, the cycle continues, and we don't see a way out, but there is a way out of this. There is a way out of this dysfunction, this comfort, and it's called releasing things that no longer serve us. You have to release, because when you know what you're worth at a job, when you know that your happiness is paramount in a relationship, when you know that you're important and you know who God is and you and who you are in God, you don't allow those things to happen to yourself. You change your mind about what's going on with you. You start to gain a new sense of love and appreciation. You don't tolerate the former things. You've grown up. You've learned to release things. You say, you know what, I'm worth $70,000 a year. I'm worth happiness in my marriage. I'm worth that healthy body. I'm worth that loving friendship. I am the child of the Most High. I am worth what the kingdom of heaven within affords me. But why am I not receiving it? There may be some beliefs that you may be holding on to. Life allows for one or two things to happen at any given time: growth or elimination. Growth or elimination. In Shawshank Redemption, there's a scene that says either get busy living or get busy dying. And that's what's happening every single day. We are always one decision away from changing the rest of our lives, and that's what we're doing every day with every decision that we're making. And when we're holding on to baggage that is holding us back, we've already set the trajectory then of this dysfunctional comfort. But in this season, we're called to examine our lives and to examine the things that no longer work for us, that no longer feel good for us. We know what needs to change in our lives. We know we need to get out of that bad marriage. We know we need to go looking for a new job. But what stops us? Is it fear? Fear of failure? Maybe fear of success even. Fear of the unknown. And let me tell you something about fear. Fear is excitement with amnesia. Fear is excitement with amnesia. The same thing that happens within fear when you have a fearful anything, a fearful experience, a fearful thought, everything at the biological level, everything that happens during fear is the same thing that is happening when you're excited about something. There is one difference, though, and the difference is how your mind is perceiving it. It's either perceiving it as a welcomed experience, excitement, or a threat, fear. And it's up to you to change that. So here are some tools that we can do to really release the things that no longer serve us. I call it call out, cast it out, and count it out. So I'm going to go into call it out. Sometimes we will need to identify. When we go into this releasing, sometimes we have seeds that we've had since we were 3 years old. The seeds of poverty or lack or bankruptcy, whatever it is, or not good enough. And we've accepted these seeds, and we didn't even know that we've done it. But suddenly, in various seasons, we're producing fruit that speaks to it. And by the fruits that you are producing, may you know the seeds that you are planting. That is the sure tell way of knowing exactly what it is that you are holding true for yourself, is by looking and seeing what's going on. And you can't change it out there. That's the thing. You have to start within you. That's where the only effective change happens. And so there is a belief. If there's something that is in your experience that is showing up, that doesn't feel good, that could be better, You got to call it out. You got to say, poverty, you got to go. You can't take the place where my joy should be. Bankruptcy, you got to leave. This is your official notice. You can't take the place where my wealth should be. Hate, unforgiveness, pack your bags. This is your last and final call. You can't take the place where my love should be. So you got to call it out. Then, yes, thank you, Reverend Margie. Then you got to cast it out. Now, before I get started on this, I'm going to go over pretty quickly because I'm running out of time. Casting out. So in the Bible, it shows us, I'm going to read Luke chapter 4, verse 30 through, I think, 44 or something like that. But before I get into it, I'm going to have to give some metaphysical definition terms because it might spark a little bit of anxiety within some people sitting in. So we're going to read something in the next verse, but I'm going to explain what Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, says about some words I'm about to say. So we're going to be talking about some demons and evil spirits or unclean spirits. And Charles says that these are conditions of the mind or states of consciousness that have been developed because the creative power of man has been used in an unwise or ignorant way. Next slide. And Jesus did not admit for a moment that demons had any power, nor did he allow them to affirm power, but with the finger of God, he was able to cast them forth, to cast them out. And so now we're going to go on to, then he concentrated the dissolving power of spirit upon them, and their hold was broken. So just realize when we're talking about this unclean spirit, this is just beliefs that we're holding on to, things that are showing up that don't serve our highest purpose or our highest good, that we've really embodied. And now it's starting to be part of our beingness. And so here we go. Luke chapter 4, verse 33 through 40. Now in the synagogue there was a man who had a spirit of an unclean demon. And he cried out with a loud voice, saying, "Let us alone. What have we to do with you, Jesus of Nazareth? Did you come to destroy us? You are the Holy One of God." So we had a guy who was sitting in a church who felt pretty comfortable in his discomfort, comfortable in his dysfunctional comfort, sitting in the synagogue, worshiping with everybody. So, and Jesus, when he saw Jesus, he recognized the Christ within. But Jesus does something interesting. He doesn't address the man. He was addressing the appearance of something. He says, Jesus rebuked him saying, "Be quiet and come out of him." He did not talk to the man. He realized that this is my brother in the Christ. This guy has, there's something else, some type of energy, some type of spirit that doesn't look like aloha that he's allowed to take home in this body. So he wasn't talking to the guy, he was talking to the presence, the appearance of something. And when the demon had thrown him in their midst, it came out of him and did not hurt him. And they were all amazed and spoke amongst themselves, saying, "What a word this is, for with authority and power he commands the unclean spirits, and they come out." And that's what you have. You have the power of the spoken word to say, "Come out. You can no longer be here. I've identified you. I see you. I no longer agree with what you're doing within me." And it's up to us to identify these things and to call it out, cast it out. And finally, we have another method. It's called count it out. And it comes from this book that I just read. It was by a beautiful, wonderful, the CNN correspondent, Mel Robbins, not Tony Robbins, his wife, but Mel Robbins. She's the CNN correspondent, and it is the count it out method. And so and I'm going to tell you what the 5-second rule is. It says if you have an impulse to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds or your brain will stop you. Your brain will kill a divine idea or try to or tell you that it's impossible within 5 minutes of it, 5 seconds of it coming into your awareness. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Some type of action must be done towards that goal in order for it to remain active in your consciousness, because you will start to, or your mind will start to put some type of doubt or fear associated with it, and you're more unlikely to act as the seconds, not minutes, not days, not weeks, as the seconds go by. 5-second rule. And I'm going to give a little bit of the technique and everything on the website throughout the remainder of November. I had Leilani do this, and it works. This is another thing. I would never give you anything that didn't work. You can start actually doing this today. Leilani, my daughter, had something happen at school, and it wasn't feeling well with her, or sitting well with her, and she started have a bit of anxiety, and thoughts started coming up. And so what she started doing, I taught her, I said, Leilani, whenever a thought comes up of an outcome that you don't want to have happen, well, I want you to sit here and tell me and think about the outcome you really want. So that's what she did. She says, okay, I want this outcome. Okay. And I said, okay. So anytime that thought of the bad outcome happens, I want you to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop positive outcome. That's all you have to say. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop positive outcome, and think of that positive outcome instead. And it's a caveat, and it helps out with Reverend Tim, what he mentioned last week when the what if up. Because then you can what if up it at that time. What if, this person is really here for my good, and I can't wait to see the blessings that they will provide during this, during this season of my life. So you can use the 5-second rule, and if you go on the website tomorrow under Sunday Sermon Sum Up, you will find wonderful tools and resources to really allows you to just get rid of anything that presents the spirit of maybe resentment, the spirit of unforgiveness, and to take on a new identity for this new season. And I promise you, by the end of November, if you do these things, you will feel and see transformation in your life. It has to happen because you're a new you, because you're changing, because you're not in stagnation anymore. And so I want to put a blessing, a prayer over the congregation right now. And as we take this time, God, I just call on you to provide breakthrough to those that are here and those that are live streaming. Give them the courage to make changes in their life that will elevate them, that will provide happy outcomes. God, we trust you in all of this, that we can speak to things in our lives, that we have the power to call it out, to cast it out, to count it out, and to let it go. So we let it go. Let it go. Change is up to me, I let it go. There's freedom and release to let it go. Freedom is inside me, I let it go. We let it go. Anything that let it go. We have the power to let it go. We have the power to let it go. Thank you. God bless.
This next song takes us to the beautiful island of Maui in a ranch called Ulupalakua. lovely Halia, everyone.
Thank you, and isn't it wonderful to have Zanuck back and celebrate Aloha Sunday?
It's nice to be back. Thank you.
Breathe in with me. And know that you stand at an opportunity moment to choose to experience a spiritual exercise. It's as simple as placing your hand on your heart. And if that hand holds a tithe and gift for this community, well, hallelujah, because that's the moment we're at. But the gift is to know that you are circulating the energy of God in all your choices, as Johanna called us out to all of your activity, to all of your thoughts. You are the moving force of God in every moment. And what will you choose? So with your hand on your heart, bless your being as that manifestation of God. If you hold the gift for this community, bless that gift, your ability to give it, your choice that you make to give it, the work that it will do for you in circulation in the world through this community. Because what you give stimulates the energy of God to move more fully, and you are in that circle of circulation. So I say a mahalo to each of you who bring a gift for the community today. And I say mahalo for the gift and the light that you are. And we bless the opportunity to be in the process of circulation. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, God.
I wrote this song for a waitress. And she swore that she would leave her job one day and have a better life somewhere. And I wanted to follow the message that Johanna gave today. And so I brought this song out, and it's called Lemon Road. Papa left me his old gas guzzler, Chevy Nova, man, what a clunker. So broken down, girls wouldn't date me. This bum will never play in the big leagues. Didn't want to grow old and hateful, found reasons to be grateful. Cut ties with the venomous crowd, wrote a little ditty that I sang out loud, saying I won't go, I won't go back to Lemon Road. Now I won't go back to Lemon Road. Lemon Road. Yeah, the very same Lemon Road you're thinking of, right over there. I had enough of limitation, so I came to the realization. Had to break these chains of oppression, get moving in the right direction. I started off with a soul transfusion, released all fear and illusion, chose a life of liberation, made a final declaration, saying I won't go back to Lemon Road. Oh, sing along if you got it now. Now I won't go back to Lemon Road. Oh, come on, Kevin. Start by healing yourself, then you can heal the world. Give love your complete attention. Rise up and begin your ascension. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I won't go back to Lemon Road. No, no, no. I said I won't go back to Lemon Road. Hanaho, everybody. Well, I won't go back to Lemon Road. Yeah, yeah. Nah, I won't go back to Lemon Road. Back to Lemon Road. Back to Lemon Road. Thanks, everybody.
And I invite the ushers here. Oh, 4 came to 2. There we go. And so we just really take into our hearts and we just thank God for the wonderful blessings that were given today. We know that God is the animating power of this community, of our pocketbooks, of our lives. And we give thanks and know that these gifts go on to bless this community, bless our lives, and bless those that have been touched by the people here, the messages here. We give thanks, God, that you go on to prosper each and every one that is involved in this process, and so it is. Amen. Amen. All right. And so I want to just give thanks to our hula today, our soloist, Danny, the band. Diana, thank you so much for your keynote support, and Reverend Margie and Cindy, and just all of our wonderful volunteers, Greg doing the sound, Sean in the cave, and thank you so much. We have volunteers in Connection Central and in the kitchen. Really, it is teamwork that makes this dream work. And Zamar, of course, my beautiful, lovely Zamar. I'll never forget you, baby. And I just want to give thanks to everyone that makes Sunday such a special time to come together and have fellowship and communion with one another. And I also want to invite any chaplains that we may have today to come up front. And our chaplain support, really, if you have something on your heart that you would love support, prayer support with, our chaplains are here to hold the high watch with you. And so please, everything is confidential. See Cindy or Reverend Margie after today's service if you would like prayer. They are wonderful, wonderful chaplains, and so provide beautiful prayers. And everyone else, let us now sing. and gather around and hold hands and sing the peace song and Aloha Oi.